Welcome to the live show. Let's get this show on the road. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon in some places. And let's just say good day and hello. Welcome to the live show and welcome back. It's good to see you all here again. Don't forget, guys, there is a risk involved in trading. Most traders lose money. If you don't like losing money and you don't like risk, you probably shouldn't be trading. Nothing I say here constitutes financial advice. And I don't have any predictive capability. I can't tell you what's going to happen next in the markets. But what I can do is help you remain competent in the markets, tell you what I've done over the last 33 years, and give you some help with trading as far as that goes. Answer your questions, perhaps, or just get you on the right track. How's it, David? Good to see you again. Always good to see you. I'm sure you guys... How's it, Shane? Good to see you. I'm sure you guys are surprised by the moves in the market, as we all are. Look at the US 500 flying to the upside. Has the dust settled? Has the dust actually settled? Is everything resolved now? Interesting, isn't it? It's amazing how the smallest things make these things jump up. And for those of you that were all short on the markets thinking, well, the world is ending, surprise, surprise, it went the other way. I see they love doing that. You know, in the news in the last week, there's been so much talk of Brent crude oil going to $150 because they're going to close that. Well, I can't even remember the name of that stream or river or whatever going past Iran. And they're going to block off all the ships and all the oil's going to stop flowing and oil's going to go to the moon. So I'm pretty sure a lot of retail traders would have got caught up in that and they would have bought a lot of oil at this point. I always say, trade what you see. I saw the red lines and I said, I'll wait and see what happens. And I will buy oil again further down here. But what actually happened? What actually happened is they kind of said, we'll have a bit of a ceasefire. And poof, there goes the oil the other way. So they've taken all that money. It's almost like it's deliberate, isn't it? Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. How's it, Luigi? So yeah, and the same thing is probably happening with gold. Hi, Greg. Welcome. First time here. Welcome to the A-team. Welcome to the club. Here we don't sit and boast about our trades. We don't sit and go, ooh, I made $200. What we do here is we discuss trading and we help people with anything they might need in their trading and a bit of education and what have you. So, you know, if that's for you, enjoy the show. If you are into people that are showing you they're making $200, then bit of a tricky show. Also, what we do on this show is we have this little funded account here where everybody is able to sort of choose a trade or say, I would like to take that trade. We'll have a look at it. If it looks good, we'll take the trade, and that will be your trade on this platform, and we'll see how we go. It's just a bit of fun. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. The DAX, you know, yesterday I actually called the DAX a little bit short for you guys. Because as you know, I thought, well, you know, it might break through this level and go down. And, you know, with things going on in the world, it kind of looked that might be what's going to happen. But as I always warn you guys, wait for the candles to give you the information that you need. Wait for the candle to close on the whichever side. And yesterday, this closed with a big green candle to the upside. It even broke structure. So what that told me is it's actually going long. So it was a long trade. But as I said, I'm out at the moment on all trades based on I'm waiting for the dust to settle. I'm actually just waiting for the dust to settle. I'm not desperate to take trades on any of the platforms at the moment based on the fact that, you know, it's actually so much better if you just let things settle down because you don't know, especially with old Trumpy. He's got this thing where he says one thing and the next 5 minutes he says something completely different and the whole world changes. I'm just waiting for that to calm down. And if it does calm down, then we'll know exactly what's going on. But today I did call US dollar, Canadian dollar short. My opinion is the US dollar, Canadian dollar is going to go short. It's broken structure. It's broken to the downside. Looks like a reasonable short trade. Looks like it's going to continue on down on this trajectory. But it might stop at this level here. I did show you guys on the members videos this morning that it might actually stop down here at this level because there does seem to be a bit of a sort of demand of money down here waiting for it. Okay. Great British Pound, Canadian dollar, trading in a range, sitting in this range. You know we trade three ways. We trade with the trend, we trade in the range or up and down, and we trade break of structure. So this one is obviously bullish at the moment. It's going into the resistance. All we're going to do is wait for it and see if it's going to sort of retract, come back, retest, come down. Let me just see if I can get a better color out of that gizmoji on top there. Is that the best you can do for me? Yeah, that looks a bit better. Now you can actually see the candles in there. It wasn't very clear or opaque, as they call it. You need the opaqueness, a bit of opaqueness. My understanding is that CAD is correlated with oil. No. Look, there's a Great British pound. The Forex pairs are correlated against each other. Gold is paired with US dollar, right? For example, so you're pricing everything in the US dollar. So even oil is priced with the US dollar, priced in US dollars. So no, it's not correlating to CAD in any way, shape, or form. At least not that I would say so. Anyway, the US 500, I'm waiting to see if it's going to break through that resistance, and then we'll have a look at that. So today I'm actually going to go through our price action system, not strategy, system. You know, I hope you guys have realized already that we separate the lines from the chart, from the strategy. You get the system and then you get the strategy. So the strategy is completely different to the system, but I'll show you a little bit of system stuff today, you know, because you've got to take the high probability trades. So if oil goes down, general CAD also goes down. No, it's somebody's probably worked out somewhere down the line that there's some correlation, but I wouldn't hold myself to that kind of correlation because that's not how our Forex works. I mean, you might find that because the correlation is against the US dollar, so the Canadian dollar is obviously, but they do price the Canadian dollar against Great British pound as well. But then if you price it against the US dollar, you might get some correlation there because oil is priced in US dollars, but there's not much correlation. Even if I look at that, that's US dollar, Canadian dollar, that's Brent crude oil. You know, there's not that much correlation in it. And then if you go and look at the Canadian dollar against the Great British pound, you get a completely different picture because it's a Great British pound. It's not US dollar. You might find someone's correlated it because they're thinking in the lines of, oh, it must correlate to that because the charts look that it's going the same way, or whatever the case. But it's going the same way maybe because it's priced against the US dollar, and maybe the US dollar is moving Brent as well as the Canadian dollar at that time, or whatever the case. You do have to be careful of scenarios like that. You know, where you can specifically say is Brent is priced in on the US dollar. So you're basically looking at that kind of chart and saying, well, that's going to work against that particular currency. But to say that it correlates the Canadian dollar with oil it's a very difficult thing to correlate because you're actually working it through a dollar, through another currency. It's difficult to explain that actually, but yeah, you get what I mean. World Free Speech. Wow, some explosions going on there. SMCI, World Free Speech announcements in August. My own medicine. Sir Lunchalot, welcome. Good to see you again. How's it, Sir Lunchalot? Lovely to see you. I actually don't know what you're going on about with the pills, mate. That's not what we talk about here. I'm not really too bothered about it. Medicine. Is it a share that you want to buy? Yeah, perhaps. Okay. You know, what am I invested in medicine? I think Aspen or something like that. Yeah, that didn't go well. Yeah, you can invest in these companies and just leave the money. Like I told you guys before, investments are a different picture altogether. It's not like trading. Trading, you're trying to time the market and you're trying to determine if I can make a profit in the next day or two or next hour or so, or whatever the case. But with investing, that's a different picture. It's sort of time in the market. You just buy it, set and forget it, and leave it. So Lancelot, not sure. Possibly anything. I don't know. We'll see now. I'm really not sure what that is. Okay. So Brent crude oil. What I'm waiting for in Brent crude oil is for it to get down to this level here, to this support, this lovely support down here, back down at the 63. Maybe it won't even reach that far. Maybe down to here at 66. But I'm waiting for a good opportunity for a buy again, because I think we will get the buy again. This is a bit of an overreaction to everything settling down and everything coming back. A bit like the US 500 was a bit of a overreaction to the upside again. Everything's gone flying back up because everybody thinks that's it, deal done. The DAX as well. Everybody's jumped in. Ooh, we're going to buy now. Okay, so there you go. Now we have the answer. What do you mean? I look like a bot. TNXP had a stock split in February, went from $6 to around 33 right now, and it will go much higher. Keep an eye on it. Okay, that's wonderful. That's great. Love to see that. So Lunchalot's laughing. Look, your speed, your chat did look a bit, suspect. Just accept that. Yeah, but it's okay. Good. Apologies for that. But yeah, all right. So I take it that's kind of a luck, because very much a penny stock. When I invest, I tend to look for investments that are more blue chip stocks, bigger companies, things like that. I just get into them when their price is good and run with them, because I know they're going to be successful. I tend to stay away from the more unknowns or smaller companies or whatever the case. But that's a 10 bagger. Those are the kind of stocks you buy them on a whim, and it either goes to zero or it does what there. It went from 6 cents to 33 cents, which is a 10 bagger. The thing with that kind of trading is, or not trading, but I suppose investing, is you're going to maybe win 1 out of 10 if you're lucky, or 1 out of 50, I don't know, but you're not going to win every single one. So there's going to be quite a few of them that are just going to drop to zero or not go anywhere, and then you're going to get that one that's going to hit, and that's what you're looking for. It's a specific type of investing, and it's a specific type of trading. And I love that some people actually do that, and I presume you actually do that because you're talking about that specifically. And but it's not for everyone. It's not venture capital, because that's the worst of the lot, because that one you don't even know if the company's going to list. But it's listed companies that, should we call them penny stocks? I don't know. But yeah, so they're not popular, they're not massive, and they don't have a lot of liquidity to start with. And then they do well, and you get a 10 bagger. That is something that people do. I haven't spoken about that much on the channel, but it is something that people do. And over the years, I've seen some people be successful with it and some people not. It just depends on what you pick. The best way to pick those types of shares, though, is not with a chart. It's very much with a strategy, with a business plan, and you do have to need to know how to read financials, a little bit understanding of the company that you're dealing with, who's running it, what you see in the future, what's going to happen with it. And you need to know a little bit about business to be investing in those types of companies and whatnot, I think. Yeah. Now, believe me, Sir Lunchalot, I am that evil. I'm sending Shane all the adverts. Good morning, Elaine. Welcome. Good to see you again. Oh, no, totally. But okay, I was going to go through the process of the system again. I'll get to that when everybody's here, I think, and we'll just have a little look and have a little chat about it. What is this? The DAX, eh? Yeah, the DAX going to the upside. But, a lot of people got sideswiped by, everybody thought that the geopolitics was going to cause the world to end. And I've been listening to a lot of people in the corner on the side, thinking that that's it. But it depends, what you hear and what you believe. And I actually saw what was happening and thought, well, it doesn't look good for the Iranian side. So I was thinking this is going to end fast. And it sure has. But for now, the dust hasn't settled yet. Let's just see. Let's just see if it ends. But yeah, these things in the world can cause a lot of havoc. And if it got out of hand, we could have been looking at quite a big problem in the trading scenario. But then you could also make a lot of money out of it as well. But as it stands at the moment, it's more difficult to make the money out of it now because you're not quite 100% sure which way it's going to go. And those guys, for example, there would have been a lot of people that would have thrown the kitchen sink at the shorts on the indexes and maybe thrown the kitchen sink at the longs on Brent. That everybody said Brent's going to 150. I'm sure a lot of people threw the kitchen sink at it here to go long. And whew, big. That took all the money back. How's it, Kevin? And Kevin also sends Shane all the ads. Yes, Sabria, sorry, welcome. Born to do it. Born to do it. Another great name. So Lancelot, you got competition, Born to do it's here. And I hope Super Earthman's going to pitch up, or does he only come on Thursday? I'm not sure. Born to do it. Sorry I'm late. How much have I missed? You missed everything. It's all done. We're just sitting here having tea now. And have you guys noticed I'm having tea, not coffee today? Sometimes I have a cup of tea. Why not, eh? Why not? No, you haven't missed anything, Born to do it. I've just been talking a whole lot of rubbish and getting the show started. So you well within in good time. I normally don't really get to the nitty-gritties and off till about 15 minutes have gone by anyway. Normally let everybody get on board that needs to be here, and then we can get into the nitty-gritties of what we want to talk about. That's buy the rumors, sell the news. So Lancelot, you are quite right. Buy the rumors, sell the news. Yeah, no, it's actually quite tricky how people get caught up in it. And unfortunately, that's what the life is about. That's what it's all about. I always say, try and trade what you see. Yesterday, when I was hearing all these rumors about Brent flying to the moon, I took one look at the chart and said, no. Let the dust settle, then we'll see what happens. But I am going to buy Brent again, definitely further down here at lower levels. And I'll actually show you why now. Rob T, wow, pigs will fly. When I was younger, Kevin, when I was a young lad, and that was like yesterday or the day before, I only drank tea. I drank tea like it was coming out of my ears, and I hardly touched coffee. And I don't know, about 20 years ago, I just switched over to coffee, and I drank so much coffee. So you guys would drop dead if you heard how much coffee I drink in a day. So I made a kind of conscious decision to just try and slow the coffee down a little bit. It comes with trading, guys. If you guys get into trading and you're sitting and you're doing trading and things like that, things like coffee and stuff like that can get out of hand. And it sure has in my life. I go through so much coffee that I thought, you know what, let me just back off a little bit and just drink a little bit of tea and just calm down a bit. I don't know if it's going to work though. It didn't work before. It probably won't work now. Yeah, Kevin, I've been trading gold lately and I've had some minor successes. Gold is good, but gold at the moment is looking a bit short. And if you look at how it's like dropping to the downside. On the short term, you might pick up some trades up and down, but generally it looks a little bit short on the overall picture. Surprisingly, because I would have thought, like at this area here, where all the geopolitics were going on, I would have thought that gold would have done well because it's normally a safe haven trade. Everybody jumps into gold when the politics go out of whack and go crazy. And it just kept on going down, which was surprising to me in many ways. while Brent was doing its thing and going up, gold just kept on filtering to the downside, which is a little bit nerve-wracking in itself, because if I was a gold bull, I'd be very concerned with that, because it's done nothing over a period of strife. And that's normally not the case. Normally what happens is people take all their money from the US 500 and they pump it into gold. And they didn't do that. And obviously what's happened with the US 500 now is that held on pretty well. I was expecting it to really crash through this level and go. And it held on well. And now with the relief, it's like a relief valve that's popping up now. Last 2 weekends, no trades on the cards, hold back, wait and see what happens. That said, every single one of my investments are still in place. I was not even concerned about them, because even if it did go back, it's 1-to-1. At the end of the day, it'll just come back to where it was. So I just leave that sort of stuff. OXY I've been around since 1920s, and that's a stock that Mr. Buffett himself invested in. The good pullback yesterday. Also, most likely it will grow up. That's good. Okay, so I'll tell you what, World Free Speech. You're welcome to give us your name if you want to, but I don't mind. That's all good. Investments are something that I talk about quite often on the show. I'm not really talking about them today, but it's something I talk about quite often in the show. And the way I look at shares, okay, you can trade shares. Of course you can trade shares. It's the best way to learn, actually, because it's a lot slower than Forex and indexes and that sort of thing. But shares, what I do with shares is I only invest in them. So for me, shares are what I call time in the market. In other words, I look at a company, I feel like it's doing quite well, I buy it and I hold it forever, I never sell it. So I've got quite a portfolio. I've got in different countries, offshore as I call it here, and offshore and what have you. And I normally buy the bigger ones, the more blue chip type shares like Coca-Cola, that sort of thing, McDonald's, that sort of stuff, Amazon, but Nvidia. But these are shares that I buy them and I add to them every month if I can. If I make a profit somewhere, I put it in there and I just leave it there, and I leave it there forever. I don't trade them. I don't buy and sell them. I don't buy it today and sell it tomorrow. I keep it forever. So if I was to buy that share that you bought for 6 cents, I would keep it until whenever. My kids are going to inherit my portfolios at the end of the day. I just never sell them. I take the dividends off them. Yeah, sometimes I just put that straight back in as well. So, in full disclaimer, the investments make all my dosh at the end of the day. That's where my income comes from, and that's where I build my wealth. I don't bother putting money in savings accounts and things like that. The money goes into shares, and the shares are held forever. So that's how I look at share purchases. So I don't sit here and go through the shares and that sort of thing. But yeah, that is a good way to make money, and I've promoted it over and over again on the channel. In all fairness to everyone, that they should have an investment portfolio where they have shares and that sort of thing. If you do want to trade stocks, it's a good thing. It's a good thing to trade stocks. I'm not going to go over them in this program, shares trading and that sort of thing, but it's exactly the same principle at the end of the day. Use the strategy, use the system, whatever the case. So there's no difference with that. So APLD, the stock 10 to 15 days, and it will start moving heavily. Like I say, that's great. I don't have a predictive capability. So I can tell you this is how I would trade it, and this is how I would trade and whatnot, and this is what I feel about it. But yeah, no, I don't have a predictive capability. I can't tell you what's going to happen in the future, and never. And that's something for you guys that are in the market and buying shares and that sort of thing. One of the worst things you can ever buy on is a hot tip. A hot tip is generally, it burns your fingers when you touch it. Especially if you pick it up by the tip. So trade what you see, trade what you want to, invest in what you feel is best for you. If somebody does give you a tip, go and have a look at it. Go and see for yourself if you like it, if you don't like it, whatever the case. You see, there you go, Kevin. That's exactly what I said. The dust hasn't settled. Accusations going back and forth. Ceasefire being broken already. So watch this space. One of the big things about the ceasefire, Kevin, is what I noticed is they said it only takes effect in 6 hours or something to that effect when the news came out. Not sure when the news came out, but there you go. And that's why I say these things are going to bounce around a little bit still. We're still in the very early stages of ceasefires and peacemaking and all that sort of stuff, and who's winning, who's losing. I don't know. We'll have to see what's going to happen. I look at the bigger picture. The bigger picture tells me that the Iranian side is in a bit of trouble. The bigger picture tells me that the big countries like Russia don't really want to get involved as far as they can. They say, we will, but they're just, flexing muscles and that. They don't really want to do it. So yeah, that's probably why there's a lot of talks going on. So there's going to be a bit of in and out at the moment, I think, and it's going to affect the market. So I'm just sort of sitting back and watching what's happening, but leaving my investments in place. So if we were to let's have a look at how we would mark up a chart for price action. For those guys who don't know, there's a lot of guys out there who don't know how to mark up a chart for price action. So I just want to do that for them today. And this is how we would mark up a chart for price action. Now let's take this out the way. And this is Brent crude oil. And this is what you'll be presented with on your 4-hour chart. Firstly, it'll say logical trading behind the chart. Okay, it won't. That's just me being me. I have a guy who drank coffee nonstop all day and then wondered why I couldn't sleep at night. Yeah, but that's the strange thing with me, Kevin, is I can drink coffee all day and then I'll sleep like a baby. I don't get it. I mean, I remember once I went to this Italian guy in an Italian shop or whatnot, and he said, "No, I've got to make you some coffee," and he made me this, these little coffees, these shots or whatever. And I drank it, and it was so good. I said, "Could I have another one?" And he almost fell on his back, Said, "If you have two, you're never going to sleep." I was like, "Nah, give me another one, man." I drink that stuff like it's nothing, which is why I say I'm trying to think consciously about it and maybe try and back off from it just a little bit, And I still can't resist my morning coffees. I mean, before I've even started the day, I've drank 2 mugs of coffee. It's ridiculous. I mean, I've got to calm down a bit. So yeah, it's not that I'm addicted. I just love it so much. I'm just trying to say, like, let's drink tea a little bit and see how it goes. So tea, note, tea cup, not coffee cup, tea cup. There's no coffee in there, it's tea. Okay, guys, so let's let me get back to showing you how to mark up a chart. Gee whiz. You see, when I make you guys an educational video, I can concentrate on just showing you this. But when we're live, I'm having such a good time, I get sidetracked every 5 seconds. Drinking an Italian under the table with coffee. Oh, totally. Imagine, eh? But man, that can make a good coffee, that's for sure. Anyway, so what you do, okay, there's your chart. Now, you would look at this, and like I've always said to you, with the strategy and the business plan, you don't need any indicators on here. You don't need any strategy on here. I could say to you, hey, buy or sell. And then you could apply the strategy and you could manage it, and you would achieve, most likely, in all high probability, the same result as you would with a system. The problem with not having a system on this chart, and the problem with not having some kind of line or some kind of idea of what you're doing, just guessing buy or sell, is that you won't be confident with your choice. You'd look at it and think, oh, I want to do that, but am I right? Is it going to work out? And although you could apply your strategy to it, you'd still be a little bit like, oh, I'm not really sure. So you might look at this and say, well, there's big red lines there, so I'll sell. It doesn't really mean anything. It just, okay, I'll sell. So it's better to draw a line in the sand. It's better to have a system as well. And What the system does is it gives you the ability to manage your risk. It gives you the ability to draw a line in the sand and say, well, I feel more confident about taking the trade this way than that way. Now, this is a nice mishmash chart. It doesn't look great. It looks kind of all over the place. So it gives you a good idea of what the markets might look like if you're looking at a market and trying to guess which way the trade's going to go. My sister used to drink coffee and butter. My late sister, sorry, she passed away the other day. Can we do that as a test? Yeah, okay. All right, so what we have here is your, and yes, Shane, I would love to do that as a test. We could do that. We could play around and take trades without any indicators on them. And believe me, I have done it before. I've taken a week and taken trades with no indicators whatsoever. But the bias is I've got this problem because I've been trading for so long. When I look at a chart, I can see the indicators. I can see the lines. I can see where they're going to be. So it's kind of an advantage. So you need someone who doesn't know what they're doing to take the trades for you. So what I would do is take my wife. She can choose the trades because she knows nothing about trading. And then she would say, okay, buy or sell, whatever the case. And then that would make, for a week of testing. The results come out the same. The results come out exactly the same as if you have a system, as if you don't have a system. It's insane, actually. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, Shane, terrible. It was unfortunate. She had a stroke at Christmas just after I spoke to her. It's not my fault. And then she was, incapacitated for quite a number of months and then just passed away. Yeah, terrible. Absolutely terrible. Yeah, so anyway, let's get back to this. And okay, so what we do, firstly, is take it to the day chart. And the reason we take it to the day chart is because, as you know, the higher that we go with the time frames, Shane says he's got no idea what he's doing. You can come and choose the trades. The higher we go with the time frames, the more reliable the information that you're getting off these candles. So the information on the higher time frame is incredibly reliable in comparison to the information you are getting off of a 4-hour chart, 5-hour, a 1-hour chart, 15-minute chart, something like that. Now look at the size of that red candle on a day chart. Now that, in all, if you read if charts like a book, that in all tells you a story of a very, very, very bullish day. The only thing you need to confirm that red candle is a volume at the bottom here, and if the volume is strong with that red candle, it's a genuine move. Now what you do is you look at this on the day and you say, well, I'll tell you what, let's take it to the line chart, and then I've got closing prices, and then I've got reliable information. I hope you can all see this white line chart that's running down here. Now, the best way to look at this is from a bigger picture. Look at it from an overall picture. Now, what I like to do on the day chart is draw in my support and resistance, because the support and resistance gives me the level of its highs and its lows. And there, I don't like this color, so I'm just going to take that out. I'm going to replace it with something else so that I can actually see the prices when I'm running through here. So that's my resistance on my oil. Now, my resistance on my oil, as we all know, it's at 80. It's always at 80. So I know it's at 80. Everyone's been calling for it to go to 150. I ain't going there anytime soon. Okay. Now, where's my support? And I'm looking left, and there's not much going on back there. So the support is all down here at the moment. This is the lowest it's been in a very, very long time. Generally, it runs along that level at the 70. That's where your main level is. So I'm going to draw 2 support levels in on this. Why am I going to do that? Because if I look left, it's all blank here, which means this is an extreme situation, which means everything on the left here is very much, there's my range. My range is actually there. Now, what you could do is just draw a line in here. That's good enough. There's nothing wrong with drawing a line just to see, or you can draw another rectangle. That's also fine. But I don't think we're going to get a hell of a lot out of a rectangle. Oh, you are. Okay, so that's a line in the middle. That's your main range. But your main support is actually all the way down there. Now that's on your day chart. That's your levels on your day chart. Now we can clearly see that this is bearish overall. Now, unfortunately, this line, if you draw this in on a day chart, it's not going to show up that well on your 4-hour, but I'm going to draw it in. And it's just going to look like a big line going through everything. There's only 2 touches there. The best way to get a good sort of idea is if you have 3 touches. So there's your 3 touches. Now, if you look at this on the day chart, your oil held this bearish run. It's broken out on an extreme event, come back, and it's broken back through to the downside again. So that tells you that oil has gone bearish again. And if it breaks through this level down here, it's probably going to go all the way to the lower levels. So that's how you draw in. That's how you draw in your levels on the day chart. Then what you do, take it back to the candles. I hope I'm not boring you guys with this, but there's a lot of people that don't know this, so it's good for them to figure this out. It's good for them to understand it. Okay, this is just the system. This is not the strategy. It's just the system. Let me have some more tea. Not coffee, tea. Right. So this is on your day. Now we take it back to the 4-hour. I guess I'm got to put my thing there. Okay, 4-hour. Now we're back on the 4-hour. Looks a lot more messy here. And like I said to you, this line is going to look kind of meaningless to you on the 4-hour. But you know what it's there for, and you understand why it's there. That green line, just ignore it. That was a trade that we had that went well. Okay, so it's been in that range for quite a while. It broke out of that range. It broke above there on an extreme, and now it's fallen all the way back into this range. So that tells you that it's back in this range for the time being, which is between 70 and 62. There's some lows down here, so keep an eye on those lows. Don't ignore these lows. These lows are important, and they are important just to keep an eye on them, because it breaks through this level and then it turns around on that low and it messes you around. But the all-time low is about a 60. If it breaks below that 60, we're in trouble. But I doubt it's going to do that. What I think it might actually do, based on this technical analysis, is either move back into the range and hang around here if the dust settles down. And if the dust doesn't settle down, might break to the upside. Now, it's great to have that trend line in there. And why is it great to have that trend line in there? Because if it breaks back through that trend line to the upside, you've got a really strong and a really good long trade, because it's breaking to the upside. Could also draw a trend line through here to show you that it's broken structure and going to the downside, but we don't need to. It's already broken through that. And it's broken to the downside and it's heading towards the downside. That's how you draw your price action lines in. Don't add more than that. Don't put more than that in. Because if you put more than that in, then it's going to confuse you. If you put all your volumes in here and you put all your RSIs in here and you put all your MACDs in here and you put moving averages in and you put more lines in here, it just boggles the mind. You don't know what you're looking at. I just got a question here. Yes, we can have a look between W1 and D1. I'll have a look at that now. Is this lower support due to Trump? No, the lower support is because there is a lower support there. So let's go back to the day. And if you look on the day, this is the lower support is here because this is the lowest level that we had in a really long time. The question you should ask me is, why have I put a middle support? That's because that support has been running for a longer period of time. If you look left, it's a good area. 70 is a major area of support on oil, and 80 is sort of, it runs between 70 and 80 on a general basis. So that's why the middle one is there. But the main lower level is down here at the 60, down here at the 62. And it's not because of Trump, it's because that was the areas that it hit on a lower level. Okay, you can blame Trump for what happened there. it might be his doing, but but at the end of the day, that's your lower level. So we know that it can run in this level and run down to this lower level. It's moving back into this range that it moved into a couple of weeks back. Got into this level, sat around this level quite a while, and you remember me saying that at this price you've got to buy it, because as far as I'm concerned, in all the years that I've been trading, this is a really low price for oil, except when there's disasters, which there was in 2020 and that, where it went down to zero, which, that's an extreme situation. And wars can cause these extreme situations as well, where it goes to 150 or to zero, or whatever the case, depending on what's happening. But under normal conditions, this is a very, very reduced price for oil, and they'll, in all likelihood, try and push it up again some way or another. That's the fundamentals of it. But the reason I drew these lines in is because this is the lows of the recent times, and this is the general support level of the oil, but it's now become a resistance level again. It's dropped into the lower levels, and it's sitting in these lower levels again. So that's why I'm putting both levels in, and I'm working between both levels. Sometimes you have to do that. It's stepping down. So sometimes you have to work in both levels just to get a picture of what's going on. And there's fundamental reasons for why that's going on. So the difference between a weekly and a daily on that. So if you put this on a weekly, and then if you put this on a weekly, you see how far back that goes, that level, that 70 level, that middle level goes all the way back along this area. Now, a rather long time ago, you had a serious low in 2020. That's what I was talking about a moment ago. Okay, zero. It wasn't exactly zero, but pretty close. That was that dip. Okay, that was that big dip down in 2020 that I talked about now. A very unusual event. So we call it like a black swan event. This is something that happened, right? And we have to deal with that. And it could always happen again. But in general, you can see for yourself, it doesn't go much below these levels. It kind of sticks around at these levels for many years. These are the levels that oil runs at. And you can go back many years, and the levels step. But in general, this is the price range, 60 to 100, 120. And it runs between 60 and 80 most of the time, sometimes 90. You can see, and you can see there's a bit of an extreme over here. There was the extreme pile back up to the top after the big run to the bottom. There's normally the case. Normally when you get these big runs to the bottom, you get these big runs to the top as well. But there's your general oil. So fundamentally, that's where you're looking to run. But you look at what you've got now, and you work on what you've got now. On the weekly chart, you've got a rather big red candle pointing down. So at the moment on the weekly, oil would be incredibly bearish, wouldn't it? And you have to keep that in mind when you're trading. You have to keep in mind that on the weekly it's bearish. If I go to the daily, still bearish. There's a bit of a green candle trying to pop out here, but it's still bearish. And you go back to the 4 hour, and it's still bearish. And even if you go back to the 1 hour, it's still bearish. You go back to the 30-minute, it's still bearish. Oil, in general, is bearish. What I'm waiting for is a change and a bearish move, a bullish move, and that will get me back into the market. I don't want to be bearish on oil at a price of 69 or a price of 60 or a price of 65. I'll be bearish on oil on a price of 80 or a price of 90, but not on a price of 69 or 59. For me, just fundamentally, it seems like it's in a point where you would be looking for it to turn the other way. Like I say, I don't want to pick up the supermarket mentality. We have to be very careful of the supermarket mentality, where if something's cheap in the market, there's a reason it's cheap. It's not good. And if it's expensive in the market, this isn't expensive because it's really good. But in a supermarket, if it's expensive, I don't want to buy it. And if it's a supermarket, if it's cheap, I just want to buy them all because you just want to stock up on them before they go up again. You could use that mentality in the market as well. If something's cheap, you want to stock up on it before it goes up again. There's that analogy as well. But you have to be careful that the stock market's not like the supermarket. If something's cheap, there's generally a cause behind it. But we know what the cause is for Brent. at the moment. We know why it's getting cheaper. We know why it got more expensive. So we know there's some fundamentals behind this going on in the background, which are cause and effect. And if we understand that cause and effect, then you can understand the charts a little bit better as well. But don't play too much into the news. Don't play too much into the fundamentals, but use the fundamentals. So I'm confusing you here, aren't I? What I'm saying is don't sit and wait for this jobs data every week and the CPI and all this rubbish that comes out on a weekly basis every single day, particularly Thursdays and Fridays. Those are your worst. And the Fed meetings and all this rubbish. Those are all very much reactionary trades. You know, the people get the figures and it goes up quickly and then it comes back to where it was and then you're all confused. And you're trying to work out which way it's going to go and then it goes the other way and that sort of thing. But what I do say is keep one eye on bigger things like geopolitics, like Trump announcing tariffs, like deals between countries, things that are happening, like a bankruptcy of Lehman Brothers in 2008 is a big thing. Okay, those are fundamentals that you want to keep one eye on. Those are important. Don't ignore those fundamentals. But the weekly news and the jobs figures and all that stuff, I gave up on that years ago because all it's going to do is drive you completely and totally insane. If you don't believe me, give it a try. I followed those figures religiously for years and years and years. I would sit and wait and I'd be watching Bloomberg or whatever, you know, thinking, oh, what's going to happen with the jobs figures? What's going to happen with the jobs figures? What a waste of time. Why did I do that? I guess to make myself grey. I don't know. It worked. It made me grey. I got my hair dyed. Okay. You're short on Brent on the weekly time frame, which is, you know what, Shane, that's correct. You're short on Brent on the weekly time frame. I mean, actually, Brent is short on all the time frames if you look at it for the time being. Keep that in mind. If you move your trend line on the daily, it would match better. I actually did move the trend line on the daily. Where's Brent? I actually did move it on the daily down there. That's the trend line for the daily. And but if I draw it in on a 4-hour, I'll probably get a result. And if I draw it in on a weekly, I'll probably get a result. Let's take it to the daily. There's my daily. There's my trend line on the daily, but it's drawn in on a line chart. So there's a few pop throughs with the candles, but you need 3 points, you see. That's why I've got it drawn like that. I've got the trend line drawn through there. I could draw another trend line in, but no need. We can see what's going on here. If I take it to the weekly, then you can get a weekly trend line going straight through there. Pretty similar. It's going to be a little bit higher. Going to be more sort of through that level down there. Still going to get a pretty similar result. It's not going to be a hell of a lot different. If I move this trend line onto the liquidity, which we can do as well, you get a slightly different result as well. It'll be a little bit higher. It's just a line in the sand, guys. I mean, we can take that and we can move it up a little bit like that. You can even take it to there. And pretty much there's another trend line. It's not a perfect science. You know, a lot of people expect perfection from these lines. And you are not going to get perfection out of these lines. It's just not possible. It's going to give you an idea. Just gives you an idea of where the liquidity is, where the market's going, and what's happening. You see, what you guys have to understand is, like I've told you guys before, the money's in the strategy, not in the lines. The lines just help you to take the trade up and down. It's high probability. But what you really have to understand is you're not moving the market. Retail traders make up such a small percentage of the market. We are tiny in relation to the market. The money is in the big pros, the big money, and the big companies and whatnot. They're moving the markets around. When you see markets moving around like that, it's so not the retail traders. What we're doing as retail traders is we're riding on the coattails of that big money that's moving the markets. And I mean, as much as we think we're a lot, and there's many of us, and we're a lot of money. We are a lot of money, but there's a lot more of it. And we're a very, very small percentage of the market. In fact, just a couple of percent. We're not big in, we're not moving the market at all. So when you think that they're hunting out your stop loss or your trade, wow, man, you are so unimportant in the market. It's unbelievable. I hate to tell you that, but that's a fact. Me as well. I'm totally unimportant in the market. No matter how much money you think you have, you're not as important as these big guys. These big guys move markets. They can buy whole companies out with the money that they've got. That's what moves the markets up and down. And companies that are buying in and selling out and all that sort of stuff. These are things that move markets, not retail traders. Retail traders jump on the back of the other money. That's why we have these lines. If you see a pro trader and question how to select stocks. Okay. If you see a pro trader, you go and look at their chart. And if you look at all the retail traders, less so on my charts, obviously, because I don't have that many indicators on here. But you go to most retail traders' charts and you'll see millions of lines and indicators and moving averages and all kinds of stuff and RSIs and MACDs and all kinds of things on their charts. And that's how retail traders trade, because we're looking for that trade. But if you go to a pro trader on a trading floor and you ask them how they're trading, and you'll be shocked and stunned. Such basic old stuff that these guys use. Some will just use a moving average. Some will just use a line. Some will just use an RSI. It's overbought, so I'll buy it. It's oversold, so I'll sell it. Nothing else. That's all they use. And then we come along with all these fancy, fandangled, beautiful systems and think that we're somehow going to beat the market. It's never going to happen, which is why I keep it simple, which is why I keep it to price action. And your student says, how to select stocks? Question mark. And the best way to select stocks is not with charts, right? The way I select my investments, and I told you before, the way I select shares is for investment only. I don't trade shares anymore. You can trade shares by all means. And if you want to trade shares, simply to select them the same way we select everything else here. Look for the trade, look for where it looks good, it's breaking out, whatever, support resistance. Same thing, exactly the same if you want to use a system to pick your trades, and then use the strategy to manage it if you want to trade shares. If you want to invest in shares, the way you pick them is very, very straightforward, and as I told you guys before. And that is, I don't use charts. I don't use even the fundamentals and the figures. I look at what's going on around me. So I see Amazon, for example, growing and innovating with the future of deliveries and opening their company in other countries. I see Coca-Cola as a company that just keeps on selling Coke. Everybody's got a Coke in their house, whether it's a Coke or a Sprite or a Fanta, it's a Coke product. I see Anheuser-Busch, SA Breweries, the brewery companies. There's always a beer out there for sale. It's a growing company. It's not shrinking. It's getting bigger. I look at it from that perspective. Or I walk into a store in the country I live in South Africa, and I walk into, say, a spa, and I see it's improving and growing, and there's more clients there, and it's getting bigger, and it's looking better, and they've done some innovative stuff. And I think to myself, well, if I was a businessman, this looks like a good business. Why am I not invested in this? Then I'll go back and I'll have a look at the price to earnings ratio. I'll have a look at the dividend yields. I'll have a look at the growth prospects, the earnings per share, those types of things. I'll look at the financial statements. Am I really bothered who the CEO is? Do I know the CEO personally? Probably not. So why would I bother too much with that? I would like to know if it's some kind of previous criminal or something like that. But, if it's a general person, I'm good with it. I'll look at the figures and they'll say, well, from what I've seen on the outside, that looks like a company I'd like to be invested in. And from what I've seen on the inside on the figures, and that looks like a company I want to be invested in. If you want to look on the charts, you can basically draw a 50-day and a 200-day moving average. And on the golden cross, you can buy, and on the death cross, you could sell. But If I buy a share to invest in, it's set and forget. I never sell it. I never ever sell it unless I see something going pear-shaped and it looks like the company is going to go down the toilet. For example, if I was invested in Pick n Pay in South Africa, it's had a bad run. It looks like it's going down. That I would actually sell and buy into, for example, Woolworths or Spar or something like that. Take it away from that company and put it into something else. But then on the fortunate side, I was never invested in that particular one. But that's just how I invest. That's how I look for shares. But if you want to look for shares to trade, use it exactly the same way as you would here on these indexes and Forex pairs and crypto and whatnot. It's exactly the same system to use. It's just a high probability trade. So what I showed you here today, you can use for shares as well. If you're picking for a trade or whatever the case. I can't put everything on here, guys. So you can use that. And just remember, you need to separate the lines and the candles from the strategy and the business plan. The business plan is something completely different. So my business plan for trading, you all know, I've put it in my videos, you've seen it, you've watched it, you understand it maybe. If you don't, just watch it again, especially the last video, it goes over it in detail. So since I've gone over the system on the live show today, I'm not going to go over the strategy as well and bore the pants off you. Let's just keep it at the system today. But the system doesn't make you money. The system gives you the ability to take a trade. What makes you the money is the strategy. And you can use that strategy if you're trading shares as well, if you're doing it technically. All I say to you is I've got a different business plan for investing, as you know. My business plan for investment is even simpler than my business plan for trading, because my business plan for trading has got, 3 steps? My business plan for investing has kind of got 1 step. Set and forget, buy it and keep it and, leave it. Don't even look at it. Do you know how often I check my investments? Generally once a month when I need to add to them. Then I need to decide, what am I going to add to? Then I quickly go and have a look at what's going on. Okay. Shane, I use subs. Greg. Shane Simmons, 5% according to Tom. Okay. Yeah, no. Yeah, Shane, true. Yeah, retail traders, very small amount of us. Amongst the big guys, are some losing to others, or is the retail money that is taken by the big boys? Greg, the retail money, as I said to you, is so little. It's so small in the bigger scheme of things that, a lot of the retail money is lost. 70% of it is lost to the market. Maybe 80%, but it's not big money in the greater scheme of things. So, well, it is big money, but not to the pros. I mean, the pros, like Shane said, 5% according to Tom. That means 95% of the money is pros. 5% of the money, they're going to take your money. They're going to take your money. If you put it out there, they're going to take it. But it's not the bulk, okay? And it's the big guys. Yeah, that's basically, put it that way. The big guys are losing to each other. Yes, they pretty much compete with each other, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Lola, Tom's been around for a very, very long time and a very smart guy, but you have to understand that he trades on a very short time frame with high risk, and he is very successful at it because of his mentality, but also he puts a lot of work into how he takes his trades. But he does exactly what we do. He separates the lines from the strategy. So he uses the system to take his trades and to position himself, and he uses a strategy to buy and sell. He's got his own strategy. And that, the thing is, a lot of people will ask you, like me, to trade like me, or to trade like Tom, or to trade like this one or the other. You can't trade exactly like someone else. You have to figure out your own way. You're not going to make the same profit or loss as someone else. You're not going to achieve the same result as the next person. Even if you try and carbon copy their system, you're going to achieve a different result And the only reason for that is because of the way you think and because of your own personality. So there's no actual way for you to carbon copy someone's trading ability or system, strategy, whatever. You can work from it, get the information from it, try to copy it as much as possible, learn it as much as possible, and work the system into your way it works for you and make money from it that way. But you're never going to achieve the exact same result as the next person. You might be better, you might be worse, you might be similar, but you're different people. And a lot of people don't understand that as well, because it just is what it is. You can take a charting system like I've showed you there, and you can apply a charting system like I'm showing you there. You're going to take your entry at a different point to me. You're going to take your exit at a different point to me, and that's just the nature of things, just how it's going to work. Yeah. But the strategy will help you stay in the game. And you can take, like every trader that's showing you how to trade, every trader that's out there giving you information is giving you good information. Nobody's lying to you. Nobody's BSing you. Don't worry about, whether the guy's got Lambos, whatever. It doesn't matter whether he's got that or not. That's just pie in the sky. What's important is he's showing you something that happens in the market. He's showing you a system, right? And that system or strategy might work for you, or you might be able to apply it to your system or strategy. So what you do is you take little pieces from everyone, and I'm pretty sure that's what Shane does, because he knows a lot of the YouTubers, and you take a little bit from everyone, and you take what works for you, and then you throw out what doesn't work for you, and you use what's best in your system. So if that makes sense to you, I always try and say, nobody's wrong. Every system works. Everything actually works. You just need to apply what works for you. That's the best way to approach the market. So if you learn something from Rob, and you learn something from Tom, and you learn something from Philip, and you learn something from John, and you put them all together and you say, well, I'll take that, and that, and that, and I'll use a bit of each, then you'll get good information. That there's a lot of guys out there that are ripping into some of the traders out there and saying they're this and they're that and the other. And I actually think those people are bigger scum than the actual traders, because they're actually making money out of other people's demise and trying to rip other people apart. And they themselves are only in it for the money. So come on, let's be fair. So every single trader out there, I don't hold anything against any of them. As far as I'm concerned, they've all got something to offer you. Every single one of them has got something to offer you, and you can get something from it. All I say is, look, you really don't need to pay for a course. You really don't need to pay big money for stuff. I mean, that's entirely up to you, but you don't need to. You can get enough information out there. It's available to you. Luigi wondering, do you trade the NASDAQ, Dow Jones, futures, etc.? I do trade the NASDAQ. I do trade the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones is US 30. And all those, everything, absolutely everything, yeah. And on the cash accounts, it's different to this futures account. I mean, sorry, this, what is it? Funded account, yeah. The funded account we use, because if I lose this funded account trading with you guys and playing around, it doesn't really matter. It's for $100 or whatever the case. And that's what's great about these funded accounts is you pay for them, and if they go, they go. But the cash account, that's a different story that you got to look after very carefully and invest very carefully with it, and it's well looked after. That I don't play around with. But these, yeah, I mean, even if you guys want funded accounts, they are in the link in the description below. They're a necessary evil for those people who don't have cash to invest in the markets. Matcha and trade. I like using VWAP with MACD. That's fantastic. What I have found for myself, and I think I've said it here before, What I don't like about the VWAP is it only really works on the lower time frames. Doesn't work on the bigger time frames at all. Just remember, a lot of these indicators, like MACD, for example, that's a lagging indicator. In other words, you could have made a bit more profit out of it if you traded earlier or later. Price action gives you a wider range of money making ability. So, I've traded with MACD before, tried it out. I've even traded with Shimoka. I've traded with RSI. Yeah, all kinds of different things. Yeah. I gather if using TradingView that you need to pay some subscription to get real-time data on multiple watch lists, windows, etc. Greg, that's only if you don't get it supplied to you. If your broker gives it to you, then you generally don't have to pay. So what I do is I use whatever platform my brokers allow me to use, and they normally cover those costs, so I don't have to cover them in most cases. So even with these funded accounts, whatever they give you, they give you. There's one funded account that offers TradingView with it as well. The cash accounts, I'm kind of reduced myself to the two, and then I'm stuck on MetaTrader 5. MetaTrader 5, MT5 is a bit outdated these days. But yeah, if you want TradingView for yourself and you want to use it, then you are going to end up paying for it if your broker doesn't supply it. That's entirely up to you, but I wouldn't bother, because what do you need from it? What do you actually need from it? In my case, I don't need any indicators. I don't need any fancy stuff. So whatever you supply is good enough. I would like a system like this where I can have a few charts up, where I can draw a few blocks and lines. Even MetaTrader does this, so you don't need a lot. What's nice about these other ones is you can work out your risk and that sort of thing when you're taking a trade. We've talked about that before. And whereas the MetaTrader doesn't do that, so that can be a little bit tricky for you. Okay, sometimes trend lines to see a break coming. Greg, Udell for extra bells and whistles need, but not necessary. Forex is mostly influenced by speculation, if you ask me. Jan, when you say influenced by speculation, I do understand what you're saying. Effectively, you're pretty much right, because, once you understand that you are trading in a market against other human beings, not against lines. You're trading against other human beings. So what you're doing is effectively wheeling and dealing in cash. You're saying, I'll give you that much for the dollar, and they'll say, I'll give you that much for the yen, and you're buying and selling. So yeah, you're speculating that it's going to go up. But that's all of trading. All of trading is about speculating that it's going to go up or down. So what you end up doing is you have a system which gives you a high probability trade, which says, in all probability, what happened in the past will happen in the future again, because human beings are creatures of habit, and they tend to do the same thing over and over again. And that's what trading is about. So what you look at is you look at a chart and you say, well, that happened in the past, so it'll probably happen again in the future. So if it keeps on happening, you're going to keep on doing it. So if it's staying in a range between a support and resistance, or if it's going up in a trend, or whatever the case, you're basing your speculation on effectively what's happened before is going to happen again. And then what you have to do is manage that speculation with a strategy. And that's the strategy I give you in every single video, in how to manage your risk and how to manage your trades. Because if you manage your risk and you have a business plan, then you can manage the speculation. Because every single trade that you take in the market, doesn't matter whether it's Forex, doesn't matter whether it's index, a share, whatever the case, you're speculating. If you invest in a share, like your investment portfolio, set and forget. You invest in a company and you look at a company and you say, I think that company is going to do relatively well. It looks like a good company. And you buy into it with a thought of investing You're going to leave it there for 30 years and I'm going to get the money at the end of the day. You're speculating. You're speculating on the fact that you believe that company is going to do well and it's going to grow and it's going to get better. So, you know, when you base it down to that, the entire market is effectively what you say. You're speculating 100%. So yeah, there's no, you know, there's no guarantee on any trade. And as I always tell you, if you look at the system, on the actual system that you're trading, if you take a trade on any of one of these systems, the actual trade that you take has got a 50-50 chance of going in your favor or going against you. Same as if you had a coin toss. So it doesn't mean because you have a system in place that it's definitely going to work in your favor. Every time you click the button, you've got a chance of it going up or a chance of it going down. And, I hope that guy who said the market goes sideways as well doesn't. Yeah, I have to explain that the market always goes up or down. It doesn't go sideways, okay? Because even if it's going sideways, it's going up and down on one or other time frame. It doesn't just stay at 0. It doesn't just stay at 10. It goes up and down. You either buy or you sell. You can't do anything in between. If you bought, you can hold it, but you either buy or you sell. There's only 2 ways you can trade. There isn't 3 ways. So you buy it, you sell it, and you've got a chance of it either going with you on the buy or going against you on the buy. And that's it. It's a 50-50 trade every single time. How you get around that is with the strategy. Go and watch the strategy. The strategy always tells you how to make the money on the 50-50 trades. Because the way to make the money on the 50-50 trades is make more on your wins, lose less on your losses. ZS Swift. Hi Rob, how's it? Greg, are your charts being supplied by the broker that you are dealing through? Yes, Greg. All charting packages are supplied by the broker that you deal through. So every single time you take an account, whether it be a funded trader account, whether it be a cash account, whether it be an investment account, your charting package will be supplied by the broker. You don't need to buy a charting package. And it just depends what they offer. For example, my main account, my main cash account is with MetaTrader 5. They don't offer TradingView, for example. And then I have other accounts that offer TradingView. That's it's up to you. But then you can actually use the better charting packages to work out your trades, for example, and then go back to your package and just buy and sell. It really doesn't matter. But you know, the charts themselves don't matter that much to me anymore. As long as it shows me which way it's going. Match and trade says most big brokers offer this. I think all brokers actually offer it. I haven't come across a broker that doesn't offer you a charting package with your account. I mean, not yet anyway. I haven't come across one. So you'll get something, and then you just have to learn how to use it. You know, some offer 3 different options or 4 different options. So before you choose your option, maybe go and have a look, watch a few YouTube videos on different programs. I don't do these kind of reviews on programs, but you can. There are guys out there that review CTrader, MaxTrader, TradingView, MetaTrader 5, and so on and so on and so on. And some of them are actually online things supplied by the broker as well. I remember when we first started trading, and before we had computers, and then when we got computers, the broker had their own charting package, which they came up with and said, yeah, you can use this. And then you would go online on, was it called Google then? I can't even remember. And then your charting package would be up there and you could trade. But then I wouldn't leave the charting package on all day, because in those days we had limited internet or bandwidth or whatever you call it. So it would start costing you money to leave the charts on all day. So I would switch them on, have a look at how we're going, and then switch the internet off again. That's how we started out. And I don't even know what those charting packages were called, you know. And then, like I said, somebody asked me, I think it was David asked me last week, the best one we had back then, I still got it backed up on one of my hard drives here, and it was Art Trader. It was really good back in the day, so far advanced for its time that it almost, could do what these things do now. But they become obsolete. They become obsolete very quickly. But you don't need to pay for charting packages. You really don't. Your broker will offer you a reasonably good charting package. I think most people in Australia, that's New Zealand, and which is the one for Australia? Not sure. I create my indicator with 10 different indicators within it. That's actually quite good. That's really cool. That's good. I don't need indicators. I just look at charts and kind of see the picture, which is why I said it's an unfair advantage if I take a blank chart and we want to do that experiment like we said with Shane earlier. It's better to take someone who doesn't know anything about charts and let them do the experiment with you and say, buy or sell without any indicators. Because if I look at a chart, my mind has already drawn all the lines in without drawing them in, so I can actually see which way things might plan out. I draw them in so I can show you guys how it works, and sometimes I draw them in so I don't forget. But yeah, whether you've got lines on the chart or not, it's going to work out the same. You just have to have a strategy and a business plan to make the profit. So does tea go colder quicker than coffee? Yeah, I think it does. Definitely does. What do you think, Kevin? I think tea goes colder quicker than coffee. But it was a nice cup of tea. Prefer my coffee though. Like I say, I grew up with tea, and like Black Bull is very popular. Yeah, Black Bull's very popular. Is Islander New Zealand or Australia? I'm not sure. It's also a regulated broker, a decent broker, I think. I don't look. Why am I naming names? I don't trade with these guys. I don't even know them. So don't hold me to it, guys. I'm not trading with those guys. But I've heard that Black Bull's quite good. I've heard from others that it's reasonable. Just remember, I'm in Africa, so I can't give you guys much advice when it comes to brokers over there. It's trade with who you feel comfortable with over there, and go for it. I know. I got the IG account, and a lot of people complain about it because it's expensive and whatnot. But it is a UK thing, and then I have a problem with them because they can't take money back and forward or big money from South Africa and what have you. So it's a bit of a problem for them. So yeah, I actually don't use them that much. I rather use the other guys here. Tea goes cold quick enough, too quick sometimes. Nice text into I also use Black Bull. Okay. Hey, hi Rob. I thought you said you need a system and a strategy. Is a strategy the same as a business plan? Yes. Okay, let me try and clarify that. It's just my wording. Okay, so you can have different wording if you like, but the way I word it to separate it for myself is what I see on the lines is a system. And the system is the high probability trade, the lines, the candles, whatever the case, price action. That's the system. The strategy I refer to as the business plan. In other words, the strategy is my strategic advantage to making a profit in the market, and that is a business plan. And the reason I relate it to a business plan is effectively going to have a strategy, and that's what it's about. So yes, the strategy is effectively the business plan. I have not talked about the strategy on this live show today. I normally do. Today I talked about system. But if you do need to know the strategy and you don't know me that well and you haven't been around for a long time, like many of the other guys here, then do yourself a favor. And my last couple of videos really concentrated a lot on the strategy, I think. So maybe go over those and they'll help you with that strategy. But just remember, like I said, everyone in the market's got something to offer. Everyone out there who's giving information out, maybe on YouTube or whatever the case, has got good information to offer you. And as long as they're not trying to suck you into, I'll give you this little bit of a sweetie, and then if you want more, you're going to have to come and buy my $5,000 course. You know, that's, yeah, I wouldn't go for that. But, you know, if they're giving you all the information, which most guys do, most of the guys that I've seen out there give you really good information. Look, there are one or two guys which it's a little bit annoying. They sit there and they boast about how much money they made today, and look at this trade, I made $200, and they show you how they made $200 and stuff like that. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. I don't know. That kind of stuff, yeah, there's not much point to it. But for the guys that are out there literally showing you a trading system or a trading strategy, you can pick something from everyone and you can learn something from everyone. If it's if the older guys, you'll find most of them have migrated to higher time frames, apart from Tom, who obviously he trades on the 5 minutes and does very well with it. But you know, I actually don't. It's a bit problematic. I don't watch all the other guys, and I don't watch their videos particularly all the way because I don't have time to do that. And it's also, what's the point? But what I do is I do look at them nowadays, because you, especially Shane, says, look at this, look at that one. So it actually does help me improve my show to you guys as well, at the end of the day. No more ads, please. Oh, you want more ads, Shane? I'll send them through. Send them through. Strategy equals trade plan, convert trend to pips, business plan, profit plan, convert pips to pounds. Simple. Yeah, it all seems simple. And it's like I always say, trading in itself is easy, but applying it is where the problem comes in. Applying your psychology to it is where the problem comes in. That's where the difficulty comes in when it comes to trading. So yeah, applying a system is easy, because what am I going to do with a system? I'm going to say to you, here's a system, draw a line there, buy it there, sell it there. Sounds easy. Sounds super easy. And then you know, particularly if you go on a course and they send you home after you've done the demos, you think, oh, that was easy. And then when it comes down to applying it and putting real money to it, that becomes a different problem and a different issue. It becomes more difficult, doesn't it? Yeah. Greg, I've been trading stocks through my bank as the broker. So to start trading other things, like I see here, I need to open an account with a broker and go trade from there. Greg, I'm not sure where you are, but I know that here in South Africa, some of the banks actually do offer leveraged accounts. That being, for example, you get the normal stocks where you trade 1-to-1. If you buy 100 stocks, you own 100 stocks, and that's it. And then you get leverage trading where you can pay 100 Rand for 1,000, and you know, whatever the case, or 100 for 1,000, or whatever the situation. Leverage trading on stocks. And then they do offer Forex, and they do offer indexes as well on leverage trading. So some of the banks do. I know here in South Africa, for example, FNB and Standard Bank do offer that service as well, leverage trading. And then you can buy with them. You can use them, but they're more expensive. I think in South Africa, Sanlam, I also had an account with them, also offers leveraged trading opportunities. For example, you can buy indexes, Forex, that sort of thing through them as well. So those are people to consider as well. I'm not sure where you are there, Greg, but some of the banks do actually offer that service. So just find out from your bank if they offer it. The reason I don't use the banks for leverage trading is because of the costs. They do tend to charge more on the swaps and that sort of thing. So just watch out for that. But they are, they are a sort of safe place to have your money. Because like I always tell you guys, if you have a brokerage account and you put $100,000 in it, and that's your brokerage account, right? So that's the account size, it's $100,000. You're risking that $100,000 with that broker. You're putting it in a brokerage account. It's not in a bank account. Bank accounts very, very protected. A broker account, not as protected. So, because banks will seldom disappear, whereas brokers can just disappear off the face of the earth. Then you're in trouble. So if you've got an account size, what I normally would recommend is don't let the account size become $150,000. Rather take the $50,000 out and keep the account size at $100,000, because then that's your account size. And take the 50, put it in shares, put it back in the bank, whatever the case. But if you have a brokerage account with the bank, then you're that much more protected. And you can probably let your account size grow because it is with a big reputable bank. Because even a big reputable broker can disappear. Okay, so I'll check with my Commonwealth Bank of Australia and see what else I can trade with them. Yeah, just ask them. Very often it'll be advertised as well online with them and that sort of stuff. If they don't, there are other banks that do it, or insurance companies or brokers or whatever. What I would recommend, Greg, is look for the biggest brokers in your area and see, there's a lot of people that seem to be trading with Black Bull. I don't know, it sounds quite good. But yeah, just have a look and just see, because you're going to put money with them and you don't want to wake up on a Monday morning and they're gone. Boom, 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 boom. Our current account going is it hasn't gone far. I think it's at 23.7, 23.6. A common account. And then the other funded account is at 25.5 or something like that. And then I got the other funded accounts, 101,000 or something like that. Not doing much this year. And then, yeah, my cash account, I won't talk about that. That one's doing quite well there. It's okay. It's been around for many years, so it's okay. Perth, Western Australia. I'm in Parramatta, Sydney. Nice to meet you, Greg. Black Bull offers 1 to 500 leverage. Yeah, the main thing I think that Greg wants to know, Shane, is if there are a trustworthy, reliable broker. From what I've heard, they appear to be. But yeah, I think that's the reference that Greg's really looking for. They're good. They give good swaps, and my money's safe there is kind of the thing you want to know. That's always the big question. Also trade through ComSec. David, don't to give Rob a thumbs up. Don't forget the likes, in other words. Yeah, get those likes in there. Get those likes in there. Shane, ComSec, expensive. Okay. You see, that's the thing as well that you got to watch out for, particularly with the banks, though, is they do tend to be expensive. They tend to be more expensive on those charges and costs and the commissions they take and that sort of thing. And some of these brokers, the broker I use in South Africa, this is going to sound bad, but effectively the cheapest and the best. You'd think the cheapest would be rubbish, but they're the biggest, they're the best, and they're the cheapest. I mean, I pay hardly anything on a trade, on the cash accounts. In South Africa and out South Africa, and I'm going to promote them. What the hell? They've always been good to me. I'm going to promote them. This GT247, I gotta say they've been good. Okay. They're probably the best. And if you want good prices, those are the guys. But that's for South Africa. I don't know, you guys in Australia, you know. And IG is expensive, I know. Chew. Wow, they are. James sees only 2 likes. No, I got 24 likes here. Looks good. Better than nothing. Yeah. I got banks here asking me to update my KYC, know your client, FICA, compliance, whatever. And I don't even have accounts for them. It's crazy. And it's actually not a scammer. It's actually real, yeah. Maybe I had accounts for them before or something. I don't know. Crazy. So at least today we've gone over the system for a change, and that's better than because we always go over the strategy. I think it was time that we went over the system. Big thing here, guys, is a lot of people got caught out by the fundamentals this week, by the geopolitics. A lot of people would have thought, I'm going long on oil because of everything that was said. Got to be so careful of a hot tip, so careful of what people say. They were saying, oh, oil's going to go to 150, and guess what it did? Dropped from 80 back down to the 68, 69. So, yeah, always watch out for that. Louis says, hi. Shane Omine says, only 2. Yeah, add some more, guys. Add some more likes there. Oh, it's gone up to 30 likes now. Thanks, guys. Yeah. But I actually enjoy the challenge of YouTube. It's a lot of fun. I actually said in one of my videos, I don't know if you guys have watched it, where I said, is it about money or is it just fun? You know, I have a lot of fun with all these things. And, you know, when I started trading, there was no computers. But when traders came along, it was like a dream or when computers came along, it was like a dream come true for me. I loved the idea of little charts and monitors and screens and computer stuff and programs and that sort of stuff. It's like, I don't know, it's an attraction, isn't it? You get sucked in. And I mean, I got sucked into it. I loved it. And now with YouTube as well, it's the more I learn on the platform and how to work with the stuff and what have you, and, you know, the programs and all that, the more fun it's becoming for me. I'm enjoying myself. I'm really enjoying it. And I love the computers and that. It's a love-hate relationship because, you know, when they go wrong, you know, and Kevin knows about that, you know, that moment when they go wrong, it's a love-hate relationship. But I got to say, I really enjoy that sort of stuff. Maybe if I'd been born at a different time, I'd been a lot younger, I would have gone into like computer programming or something because it's enjoyable. I love these sort of things. And that's what I said. I think I said it in one of my videos. Is it really about money or is it about really enjoying yourself? Look, one of the things it is about is the freedom to do your own thing. I mean, obviously, that's important and the money is important. But yeah, the enjoyment of working with this sort of stuff is what it comes down to. And, you know, when I started doing the YouTube videos with this, I mean, I dabbled in it in other times and played around, was never really any good at it. But I thought, oh, I'll do this, and because you get bored just trading, so you do these things, and I really started to enjoy it. And I think that's where it comes in. It becomes enjoyable, becomes fun. And if you can do what's fun in your life, why not? And then Shane says, I have a lot of fun with money. Well, Shane, the big thing is it's more fun spending it. It's really boring to make it, and that's what people don't get. If people think it's hard to make it and difficult to make it and whatnot, it's actually boring making it 9 times out of 10 because to make money, you have to be consistent and you have to wait and you have to be patient. You have to watch things happen, and especially with trading and that sort of thing. And but the most fun is obviously spending. Yeah, at the end of the day, I didn't trade yesterday because was in the same feeling as you, hey, that the dust hadn't settled. I'm waiting for the dust to settle. Even today, I'm waiting for the dust to settle. I want to see the dust settle because, as we said earlier, there's already rumors that the ceasefire is not working out. So let's keep an eye on it. Let the dust settle a bit. Watch out. Yeah, one thing, Born to Do It says lots of lonely people use YouTube too. Yeah, what you've got to watch out for is trading is a very, very lonely game. The buck stops here. You trade alone. You don't trade in an office full of other people. If you're a retail trader, what I used to do is I used to have a WhatsApp group with a bunch of friends that used to trade alongside me. I still have friends and whatnot in the WhatsApp groups and that sort of thing. So yeah, you can do that as well. Keep it to about 3, 4, 5 people and bounce things off each other and what have you. If you're on the same level, that works. But just sitting trading on charts by yourself can be a very, very daunting thing. So you need to find things to do. BMS, thank you for your channel. It's helped me tremendously. Pleasure. As long as it helps, makes me feel better as well. And that's one of the things that kept me going with the channel as well, because there was a few times I said, why am I doing this, And then I get a lot of satisfaction from people getting help and feeling better. So yeah, it's Born to Do It, too true. Anyone from Australia want to catch up? I love trading. Yeah, that's the whole point. You got to love it. And it's addictive, by the way. You can try and leave it and you're always going to go back to it, by the way. Over all the years, you're gonna think, I can walk away from this. You can't. It's addictive. You'll end up going back to it. You'll leave it for a couple of months and you go, can't get back into that. And you get back into it. Shane can catch up. How is that done on this platform? I'm really glad I'm building a community. It makes me feel good. And I'm enjoying it. And morning, Philip. Yeah. Seriously late today, Philip. I'm probably going to shut down just now and get on with some stuff. But yeah, it's actually great building this community. Shane has suggested that we start doing some Zoom things and whatnot, but I don't want to confuse the issue too much just yet. But yeah, I am looking into it because Zoom only allows you a limited period of time, and I just want to figure out how the live would work or how we would be able to do it, whatever the case. But yeah, that's the technicality I have to get over and see if we can do it that way. Do a live show with everybody on and we can chat and have one-on-ones and that sort of thing. I'm just looking into that scenario. Maybe I have to pay a fee to Zoom or something like that. I'll see how that goes. I think we would need to go through Rob, who could exchange our details. You guys are welcome to send me an email if you want to exchange your details. Send me your details and who you want to send them to, and then if you both send me an email, I'll be able to forward it on to the other person. Because you've got to be careful putting your details out there, guys. It's like I always say, it's people like, for example, people want to look at my cash account. I'm like, dudes, only a fool would put their cash account out there, or their bank account, or their wealth status, or whatever the case. This is a tricky world that we live in. So you don't throw all your stuff out here unless it's something you're prepared to lose, an email address that you're prepared to throw away. So, because people can get out of hand. So yeah, you're welcome to, if you want to, just email me. Say, I want to get hold of this guy. If the other guy emails me, I'll put you guys in contact with each other, whatever the case. The safest way to do it. For now, anyway. Walked away yesterday after the bombs started flying. You know, Kevin, if bombs were flying at me, I'd also walk away. You know, it's not good if they land on your head. Okay. So, yeah. So, Shane, if you email me, then just tell me which person. And then if that person, I think it's Greg, if you email me with the details, then I'll put you guys in contact with each other. I'll tell you what each other's email addresses are. And then from there, you can get each other's phone numbers and you can, start visiting each other. And I'm not sending you any beer money. That you guys will have to make on the internet or on your trading. Make your own beer money. Yeah, no, totally. Okay, great stuff. So, guys, you know what? I'm actually going to head on out. I want to do something. I'm going to go out just now. So, I'm going to leave the charts to themselves, but I don't have any trades in, so that's not a big deal, actually. I actually wanted to take this US dollar Canadian dollar and I didn't take it, but it's okay. It's not a big deal. Let's let the dust settle and then we'll get back on it. I hope I didn't take a trade now. I did that last week by clicking buttons. I'll actually see on this platform if I can take off the one-click trading. I don't know. Because I keep clicking buttons and accidentally taking trades. Yeah, my email's there, Greg. newmarketsx@gmail.com. I'll type it here. I don't mind if the guys have got it. It's not the channel email anyway. I got to protect the actual channel email. Otherwise, I could be in trouble. But there you go. You can email that address. That one is for emails as such between us, that sort of stuff, and public and what have you. It's okay. It doesn't attach itself to my YouTube channel as such, but you will find it there. Okay. You want to look at Euro Aussie dollar quickly? Let's just see Euro Aussie dollar. I was looking at that this morning, and short. I presume you want to go short there, Eugene. Yeah. There you. Oh, yeah. There you go. Short. I see it now. Yeah, short. It's a short trade. Just my luck. Phone starts ringing now. Someone's looking for me. That can wait. Right click on the chart. Oh, okay. Dom, 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 dom. Place new order, sell limit, buy limit, stop limit, set price alert, symbol, dash chart, duplicate template, chart type, period, viewing options, indicators, object manager. Oh, I'll have a look later on. It's okay. Don't worry. C trader. Yeah, I know how to do it on the other ones, but this one, it's really on TradingView it's quite easy, but on this one, okay. And yesterday, that's good, Eugene. That's a fantastic trade, by the way. Rob's dating page fixing traders up. Viewing option, yeah. Viewing option. Okay, there we go. Viewing option. Viewing options. Bid price, grid, tick volume, deal map, chart scale, price alerts, quick trade. Quick trade buttons. I was just going to take the buttons out, isn't it? Okay. All right. So if I click that, it takes the buttons away. Right. So then you can't do any one-click trading whatsoever. Okay. I'll leave them there for now, though. Okay. Cool. Cool. All right. Thanks. Yeah, that's good. Can do that. Okay. I'm going to hit the road and I'm going to be off. And I'll spot you guys on Thursday. We'll do another live draw on Thursday. Eh? 2-step 10K challenge and provided by Fund Your FX. Yeah. we'll do another live draw on Thursday. So those of you who want to be part of that, make sure you leave your comments on the videos, because we'll just do a random comment picker and we'll pick a winner for the giveaway, and someone will get that as well. So that's always fun. That's always a bit of fun. About an hour into the video. I hope you'll all be here, all of you that want to be part of it. And yeah, my throat's going. I shall speak to you guys on Thursday. Keep your feet on the ground, reach for the sky. I hope it all goes well. I hope you guys have a great trading week. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining me. And thanks for having a bit of fun with me. I'll see you guys later. And cheers, ciao, and